appreciate it. All right, guys. What's going on? All right. I was gonna ask you who was gonna win, but I don't have to ask now. What's up, y'all? All right, y'all. All right.
Boxing Nation.
My man. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Canelo Alvarez, he gave his take on this big fight between Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia, and he has some pretty interesting things to say. And he was really transparent and honest with everything he thought about this fight, and I do mean everything. So Canelo Alvarez, he did an interview on ESPN Deportes. Canelo said they're two good fighters. He said the fact that Errol Spence has been at 147 and he's a southpaw and he's been at 147 for so long gives him an advantage. He says the fact that Mikey Garcia doesn't have experience at 147 could be a challenge. It should be a good fight, but as always, I'm going to support the Mexican fighter. End quote. You know, I really appreciate when Mexican fans and fighters, when they openly admit where their loyalty lies. But before I get deeper into that, let me go back to Canelo Alvarez saying that he believes Errol Spence has an advantage in this fight, and he's concerned about Mikey Garcia being inexperienced at 147. If you listen to how he broke that down, that would suggest that he thinks Errol Spence is going to win this fight. But he's rooting for the Mexican because he's Mexican. Once again, guys, there is nothing wrong with him saying that. The week of the Crawford-Benavidez fight, Benavidez's father, Jose Benavidez Sr., he said at the press conference, "We're going to get this win and we're going to do it for the Mexican people." Robert Garcia, he said on many interviews when he did predictions, when he broke down Canelo versus Edeslani Lara, he said, of course I have to go with the Mexican. I'm going with Canelo Alvarez. When Juan Manuel Marquez was fighting against Floyd Mayweather leading up to the fight, Marquez was asked, why are you going to win this fight? And his answer was, because I'm Mexican. That's why I'm going to win this fight. So listen, guys, I don't have a problem with Mexicans saying this. I don't have a problem with them being loyal to their Mexican flag. I don't have a problem with their pride that they have. But this is where the hypocrisy comes in, guys. Can you imagine if Terrence Crawford would have said, I'm doing this for the black people? Can you imagine if a reporter asked a black fighter, let's say Andre Ward, why are you going to win this fight? I'm going to win this fight because I'm black. What kind of question is that? Ain't it obvious? You don't see this black skin all over me? That's why I'm going to win this fight. What do you think those same Mexican fans that have no problem with Robert Garcia, Juan Manuel Marquez, Jose Benavidez Sr., and everyone else saying we're doing this for the Mexican people, Canelo Alvarez. What do you think those same Mexican fans would say about Andre Ward and black people in general? We already know what they would say, because you don't even have to say I'm doing this for black people or I'm rooting for the black guy just because he's black. You don't even have to say that. You could just say what I said in the Garcia versus Easter fight, that this is a 50-50 fight going in. This is going to be a challenge, a new challenge for Mikey Garcia, etc., etc., etc. And you still get these messages from these type of fans saying, oh, you black bastards are so racist and biased, and you stick together, you're racist towards Mexicans, etc., etc., etc. Even though Mikey Garcia himself had said that he thought that Robert Easter would be his toughest fight. Even though Mikey Garcia's brother said days before the fight that this is going to be a real challenge. This might be Mikey Garcia's toughest fight, etc., because of Robert Easter's reach. Mikey Garcia, he may have to fight differently than we've ever seen him fight before because of the challenges that lie ahead. Even though they said the same thing I said, because I was black saying it, they went in on my black ass. So my point is, fans, you cannot have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. You can't be cool with Mexican fighters and trainers and fans saying this but then go balls to the wall when a black person says the fight will be competitive, or he says, I think the black guy is going to win. But see, it's deeper than that, because I understand the psychology of racism. Because what these fans are really admitting is that they're racist towards black people, and they hate to hear anything positive about a black fighter. They're so used to being racist, some of them don't even see it, because it's been a way of life for so long, it seems normal to them. They want to hear that the black guy is going to get his ass whooped. The black guy has no chance. And this is, of course, when it's more of an even match fight, or if the black fighter is the underdog, right? Same thing happened when when Tim Bradley fought against Juan Manuel Marquez. I did a prediction video on that fight, and I picked Tim Bradley to win that fight. Man, they filled up my comment section with the most racist comments. You black bastards and this and that. Listen, man, this is boxing. There's only two people to pick. You know what I'm saying? And not only am I picking Tim Bradley, I'm not doing what Canelo just did. I'm not saying, hey, y'all, I'm just going for the black guy because he's black. That's the end of my video. That's all I got, guys. I'm on to the next one. I didn't do that. I gave people a complete breakdown. I broke down all the attributes, the flaws, the strengths, the weaknesses, all of that. I broke it down, and my prediction came to fruition. But yet they did not want to hear anyone say that Bradley was going to win the fight. What you guys don't understand, especially when it comes to doing a prediction, because sometimes if I say I think the black guy is going to win, they will automatically say, oh yeah, of course you would pick the black guy, etc., etc. But that makes no sense, because why would I pick the black guy if I don't think he's going to win? And since I know boxing very well, why would I pick the black guy just to be wrong? That makes no sense at all. That's like when Golovkin fought against, what's his name? Curtis Stevenson. The video is still up. My prediction video, I picked Golovkin to win that fight. David Benavidez, possibly going up against Anthony Durrell. I've told you guys on numerous occasions, I'm picking Benavidez to win that fight. I'm picking Pacquiao to beat Broner. It doesn't benefit me to just pick someone just because I like them. Now, there's one thing to say what Canelo just said. It's different if you were to say what Canelo just said. Canelo pretty much said, I think Errol Spence has the edge, but I want Mikey Garcia to win. That's different. But you would be stupid to say, I believe the black guy is going to win, and that's my prediction, just because he's black. I think the Mexican guy is going to win just because he's Mexican. So you can be wrong once the fight takes place. That makes no damn sense. You guys understand what I'm saying? Listen, I want to say this, man. I shout out all the Mexican fans that ride with me and they fight against these racist fans that I'm talking about in particular. I'm talking about the racist Mexican fans that fill up my comment section. I shout out the Mexican fans that are not racist. And the reason why I want to mention this, because first of all, you guys seen the intro. A lot of Mexican fans showing me love when I went to the Box Fan Expo. The last two times I went to the Box Fan Expo, it was the day of a Canelo fight. The first time I went to the Box Fan Expo, it was for Canelo versus Chavez, I think. And or one of the times I went, I went 3 times to the Box Fan Expo, but the last 2 times I went, it was for Canelo versus Chavez, and then the last one was for Canelo versus Golovkin. I'm bringing this up because the majority of fans there were Mexican fans. And see, guys, my point is, this is when the truth comes out. When you meet these cats in person, when you get them, or when I get them to call into my radio show and we get to have an actual conversation, as opposed to them just being able to hide on the internet and do little, not drive-bys, but little tight-bys and just troll. Things are different when you meet these cats in person. And once again, when I was there at both of these events, the majority of Mexican fans, or the majority of fans that I took pictures with, were Mexican fans. And some of the Mexican fans, they even told me, we weren't even talking about anything, and they just said, hey Dante, I just want to let you know I'm a big fan of what you do, been watching for a long time, and man, I'm gonna tell you, man, the racism you talk about when it comes to Mexicans, etc., is true, because I have Mexican friends that are racist towards blacks, and I ask them why, etc. So everything you say is true, man. Just keep doing what you do. I really support your channel. These are the type of cats that was coming up to me. I didn't get nobody coming up to me saying, man, you're so biased, and hey, you bastard, you black bastard, and etc. I didn't have none of that. It was all love, because it's the truth. See, because when you're on the internet and you're just trolling and you're just saying, oh, F you, you black bastard, or oh, you're just so biased, you're this and you're that, kiss my ass, and you know, you black lover, you saying all of this stuff that you know is not true, but it makes you feel better. It's therapeutic. And then when other racists, when they see those comments, they love it. They don't care if it's true. It just makes them feel so better when they find someone that feels the same way about a person that they despise. I mean, think about it. How do you think Donald Trump got elected as the president? He got elected as the president because he was the first person to say racist things that a lot of racist people felt but were afraid to express and say in public. Now you have someone who has the loudest microphone, and he's basically saying the same things you've been feeling all your life. So you're going to gravitate to a person like that. And it doesn't matter if what Donald Trump is saying is right or wrong. You're just happy someone feels the same way he feels about Mexicans, about Muslims, about black people, etc., right? Yeah, I know we getting deep on this one, but that's what that whole truth is about. That's what that whole truth is about. You always gonna get the whole truth on this channel. That's for sure. And once again, man, if you can't handle the kitchen, if that hot ass fish grease got you sweating and panicking, then maybe it's time for you to get your ass up out the kitchen. I keep telling these fans that like to fill up my comment section watching every video, anything I'm saying right now logically makes no sense to you. Call in. Call in to my show. Let's have a discussion. Let's have some dialogue. Okay? But you're not going to do that because, once again, you know deep down what I'm saying is true. You just hate the fact that someone is putting this out there. That's the reason why a lot of these fans, they never really try to debunk what I say. They'll just throw out insults, or they'll say, shut up. They'll try to suppress the message. Can you please stop talking about this? First of all, if your people are the race that I'm talking about, and you come out and say, hey, can you please stop talking about this? Why would I listen to you? Now, that would be different if the majority of my people were saying, hey, Dante, can you please stop talking about this, right? And I'm saying if the majority, because of course we have coons, but I'm saying if the majority of my people were saying this, that would be a little bit different. But it's ridiculous for you to think that I'm gonna listen to you. And the only reason this would even bother you that I'm bringing this up is if you are one of the racists. Because if you don't have a guilty conscience, you should not be defending this as if you are a racist yourself. Because you always have some of these decals in the comment section. They'll be like, hey, Dante, F you. I'm not a racist. I have a black friend. And Bernard Hopkins is my favorite fighter. Mike Tyson is my favorite fighter, etc. Okay, so why are you defending yourself if you're not who I'm talking about? If I start talking about gay people, if I had a segment where I said something about gay people, are you going to come out in the comment section and say, hey, F you, Dante. I'm not gay. I've banged a whole bunch of women, and I have friends that can prove that I'm not gay. Okay, so why are you defending yourself as if you are gay? Why are you defending yourself like you got something to hide? If what I'm talking about does not apply to you, why are you defensive? Why are you trying to muffle? Why are you trying to suppress the message? Why are you begging me not to talk about it, not to address it, not to report it? Those are all rhetorical questions, guys. We know what time it is at the end of the day. And let me say this as well. To the Mexican fans that send messages, F you, Dante, you black bastard, you're just racist towards Mexicans, etc. It's funny when Mexican fans accuse black people of being racist to them. Because you'll hear Mexican fans every once in a while, they'll be like, hey man, correction, Mexican is not a race, it's a nationality, right? So if that is the case, why haven't you guys ever gave that memo to the Mexican fans that call black people racist towards Mexicans? How come you never say that to them? I've never heard one Mexican person respond to another Mexican fan and said, hey, you dumbass, he can't be racist towards Mexicans because Mexican is not a race. You can't have it both ways, guys. It's either one or the other, but you can't have it both ways. Something else that proves this has everything to do with racism towards black people is when you see fans in the comment section starts to say, because the majority of them will be Mexican fans, and they'll be like, oh, you're just racist, or you're being racist, etc., etc. Oh man, you're so biased. And I can make a video and not even mention race, and these racist fans, real racist fans, they will call you racist. And see, the thing is, when these fans call black people racist, what they're really doing is they're calling you the N-word. They're trying to find a way to call you an N-word without being exposed as a racist, because they know that's what I do. I expose racists. So they're trying to find a way to call you a black bastard or any other racial slur without being exposed. So they figured it out. And that's when they use code words now, like racist or you bastard or something like that. But notice, when these fans do this, or when they post comments like that in the comment section, do you guys notice no one ever says to them in the comment section, hey man, why do you have to bring up race? Can't we just keep this boxing? Why are you race baiting? Why are you playing the race card? Etc., etc., etc. You notice they don't say that when someone is saying something about a black person. They only use terms like playing the race card, can you please stop bringing up race, when a black person is reporting racism. But an actual racist can just say F those N-words in the comment section. And we all know that is exactly what will incite some type of racial war in the comment section. Because that's all it takes, is one fan to post some racist stuff about someone's race, and then someone comes back, they say something. Now all of a sudden you have an internet riot. And that is the true definition of race baiting. That one person, he incited an internet riot. I know about riots because I grew up in Long Beach, California, where someone would say at my school, all the way from junior high to high school, someone would say F those N-words, and that would start a riot. And once again, my point is, how is it possible that whenever someone says something like this in the comment section, not one single person accuses him of playing the race card, race baiting? If you call the black person a race baiter for just reporting racism, but once again, you have no problem with the actual racist, and you say nothing to them, it's because you yourself are one of the racists. I'm gonna wrap this video up, but I'm gonna close out by saying this. Do you guys notice the only time I actually do talk about racism is when I'm doing a video talking about a Mexican fighter, or if I'm talking about Golovkin or Floyd Mayweather. And the funny thing about that is, with all those names I just mentioned, the racist comments always come from the same race. Think about that for a second, guys. I mean, so you guys can figure this out. So now you pretty much know why I only usually talk about racism when I'm doing videos on these particular people or these group of people. Because this is the only time my comment section gets filled up with racist comments. And I'ma keep shining the light on y'all. I know these racists are pissed off, they rolling around, they crying right now, and they got boxes of Kleenex listening to this video, but I don't give a damn, because I'm gonna keep exposing you. If you're gonna keep watching, I'm gonna keep exposing you if you're gonna keep listening. Once again, if you believe that what I'm saying doesn't make any logical sense and has no substance, you guys can call in to the radio show and we can talk about this. And I guarantee you, I will expose you for what you really are if we get on the phone and have a real conversation. You know, it's funny because a couple videos that I did, I told people in the comment section, because it was another one of these whole truth videos where I was pointing out the races, and I told them, I challenged them in the comment section. I said, man, why don't you guys call in? I hit up a couple people in the chat room, in the comment section, and I said, man, why don't you be a guest on my show? Let's talk about this. If you disagree with what I said, let's talk about it. And 2 people, they said, hey man, I'll get on the show. I got a whole lot to say, right? And I went ahead and I got their information. And by the time the show came, these 2 people, one of the guys' name, I think his name was Jose Villegas. He was supposed to call in. He said he was going to call in, and he told me how he disagreed with some of the stuff I said. He said he was calling in for sure. And once, of course, we did the show, I reached out to him, and all of a sudden, he didn't respond. And I asked him after the show, I said, hey man, how come you didn't call in? He said, oh man, I just got busy, you know, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the other guy who said he was going to call in, I thought he was a decaf, but he turned out to be someone that actually knew his boxing, and he was just agreeing with me. So I got my hopes all high, thinking I had some decafs, you know, to talk to, and none of them wanted to call in. Once again, they just want to throw out insults and make themselves feel better. I'm going to go and wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. Hey, once again, click on that Dante's Boxing Nation DAZN link if you guys want to watch Canelo versus Rocky Fielding for free, and you want 30 days of DAZN for free. You get to watch all their fights, and it's a great way to support Dante's Boxing Nation, okay? So start your free trial by clicking on my link in the description box. That's all I got.